Hello, friends, and welcome to this week's video where I am sharing with you the importance of growing a pharmacy at home. This week's video is supposed to be about my own wellness journey and why I've decided this year to start growing medicinal herbs in my garden. Unfortunately, as you can tell, something went awry and the video has no sound. So for all of the video I recorded, about a third of it has sound attached. And honey, I was not finna make y'all sit through me trying to voice over this entire video. I don't even think it would make sense. So instead, I have some video that I was able to capture from my camera, and I'm going to share that as so that you can get my story and so that you can also see the herbs that I am planting in addition to the ones that I already have. I hope this video is informative for you. Let's just get into it.
Okay, y'all, so I want to give you my little bit of story time. Last year, I was sick. Picture this. Went to the emergency room twice, and I was feeling terrible. I couldn't catch my breath, which is what sent me to the emergency room because that's scary. I could not breathe. I felt exhausted. I could barely stay awake. I was achy. I don't remember if I had a fever, honestly. But what I do know is they tested me for flu. I wasn't positive for flu. I wasn't positive for COVID. They didn't know what was wrong with me. They kept saying, oh, maybe it's asthma, but I don't have asthma. I never have. So they gave me breathing treatments. It helped me with my breathing, but I was still sick. So I left the emergency room just as sick as when I went in. I had a call from one of my friends just checking on me to see how I was doing because I was not feeling well. She said, I'm stopping at the Herbal store and I'm going to pick up some mullein. I'm going to bring it to you. Now, I had heard of mullein, but I did not really know anything about it or how it worked. She gave me the mullein. It was dried mullein leaves. I made a tea out of it. I remember doing that. And I drank 2 teas out of this mullein. Just let it steep for a while. The hot water, I think the first time I fell asleep, so I had to heat it up again because that's how I was feeling. I just could not stay awake. I was in a bad way. Drank the mullein tea and started to feel better. After the second one, I was breathing easier. I had more energy, and I did take over the counter stuff. When I left that ER, they gave me a prescription for some steroids and another breathing treatment I could do at home, and a bill. And I felt just as bad. I tried an over-the-counter medicine, the one we all take when we think it's the flu. That didn't do anything for me either. What changed the game for me was the mullein, and that is why this year I am 10 toes down on starting my own medicinal herb garden. I think that this is something we can all do. I would never tell anyone don't go to the doctor. I would never tell anyone don't go to the pharmacy. But why are we out here spending all of this money for something you could grow at your house? So there's all of these things like the elderberry, like lavender, like mullein, that are placed into drugs. Again, would never tell anyone do not go to the pharmacy, don't take those things. But what I'm saying is, if you can grow it and it makes the change for you, why are we doing this? Is it going to hurt you to have more rosemary? I don't think it is. Is it going to hurt you to have some fresh oregano? I don't think it is. So let's grow these medicinal herbs at our house. So I am going to grow a couple of things. So this is lavender. Obviously, you know, lavender helps with anxiety and helps you relax and sleep, as well as elderberry. I actually got the elderberry root from a couple on Etsy, so definitely using that. And then I bought as well some mullein from the people on Etsy. Now, I'm not going to be planting this on the video because the mullein seeds are, I showed you how small the chamomile seeds were. These are like that, and they need to be surface planted, so they need light to germinate. And we'll get into a little bit more about mullein because I want you to understand wherever you are in the world, if you're deciding to plant this, I want us to be smart about it. Okay, so I got this elderberry that I got from someone on Etsy, and it definitely needs to come out of this bag because it's been in there for a while. If you've ever seen people put like a damp cloth and put it in a Ziploc bag, basically what you're creating is a greenhouse. These were cut, and it was actually just the twigs were sent to me, but you can see it's sprouting. So what I'm going to do is I have some rooting powder. So I can show you this. I am going to put my elderberry ends and a little bit of the rooting powder, and then I am going to stick it in this soil that I have in front of me. And it's actually pre-moistened soil, the same soil that I used when I planted my seeds the other day. And I'm just going to get a little on the bottom there and snap this piece off. And then I'm just going to stick it down in the soil. I've been growing my own herbs for a while now. It tastes delicious. But whenever you're sick, you know, elderberry is one of those things that helps you. And so I am just getting this elderberry that I purchased started. This is part of my medicinal herb garden I'm growing. How fantastic would it be to be able to make your own tincture? So I want to talk to you about the mullein seeds. So if you watched me in my prior video, you saw me plant chamomile seeds, and those are so tiny that you can barely see them. So I'm going to open the mullein so you can see that as well. So I just want you to see how small these seeds are. Oh my gosh. So I am not about to plant these. I'm gonna put all of them right back into this envelope. Okay. Mullein, much like the chamomile that you saw me plant in the prior video where I started my seeds, needs light germination. So where some seeds like our lavender perhaps, or like the basil and some of the other seeds you saw me plant, I kind of pushed them down. They needed to be planted at a depth of either a third or a quarter of an inch. The mullein needs to be surface germinated like my chamomile was. The chamomile is actually up, so I'm going to show you that here. So this was surface planted, and now you can see the echinacea starting to come up. So it's been just 7 days now, and you can see it's up. So here, here, and here were the 3 cells where I planted echinacea. Now a lot of stuff is up, but yeah, the mullein actually needs light to germinate as well, and the germination period is the same as chamomile, 7 to 14 days. What you need to know about mullein is in certain areas of, I'm in the United States, so in certain areas of the United States, especially like the drier areas, Southwest United States, it can be invasive. I don't think I would run into that here because I am a container gardener, and so I will be controlling the mullein. But once it goes to seed, you need to be careful because if it can drop and spread, and it can be a nuisance to some people. However, that does not remove the medicinal benefits of it, right? Mullein changed the game for me, and that is why I am growing a pharmacy at home. I went to a school that is heavy on pharmacy. A lot of my friends are pharmacists. So again, I am not by any means advocating that you not go to a pharmacist. I would never advocate that you don't go to the doctor. But what I do want us to be more mindful of, especially as we're getting older, why are we considering the more organic and natural benefits of things that we can do? Like if I was just having a cup of mullein tea once per month, would I have even gotten that illness? I don't know. But what I do know is if that illness were ever to come up again, I'm ready. Hopefully it would never come up again. I don't know what it was. The doctor didn't know what it was. So think about how expensive healthcare is right now. We're paying out all this money, and what are we seeing for it? Like, what do you see for it? Like, you can spend all this money to go to the doctor and they treat symptoms, right? If my check engine light comes on in my car and I take it to the mechanic, I want them to figure out, run the diagnostics, tell me why the check engine light is coming on. The same thing happens to us in our bodies. Our check engine light comes on, and instead of a lot of times running the diagnostics and figuring out why our check engine light is on, they turn it off and say, okay, we'll see you later. Oh, I go into the doctor and say, my back hurts. Well, here's something, a muscle relaxer and a pain reliever. Oh, okay, that will help with the pain, but can we figure out why my back is hurting? For me, gardening is not just about the physical aspects, but about the mental health aspects. And so I 100% find peace in my garden. I am content in that space with the bees and the butterflies around me and all the pollinators. That makes me happy. So I'm going to garden regardless. However, in my gardening, I'm now going to be including space for medicinal herbs because I know that this was life-changing and health-changing for me. So as I try to improve my health, that's going to be one of the things I use. There's a lot going on around us in this world. It can be very difficult, but I remind you to choose you, choose your happiness, choose joy. If you found any value in what I've shared with you today, I invite you to please subscribe to my channel. I would love for you to come back. Please click the bell so that you can be notified as soon as I make a new upload, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.